What's up? It's Barrett the Immaculate. Today I'm going to be doing a FF7 Rebirth character tier list. Now this is something I've wanted to do for a while, since Remake, but since Remake only had 5 playable characters, I say 5 kind of loosely because Yuffie was only available during intermission. There are only 4 regularly playable characters. Yuffie was just kind of doing her own thing. And so it just wasn't enough. There wasn't a big sample size. There wasn't many to compare to. But now that there are a lot more playable characters, I feel like I can finally do a tier list on this. I know tier lists are kind of dead, but I don't care. I'll still do it anyways. So I'll just get started here. No more jibber jabbering around. I've gone ahead and I've limited it to just the playable ones. The rest are just kind of random. But let's get started. I guess I'll just go in order. I just put them in a completely random order. And I'll start with Aerith. And I think she's either a low A or a high B. Because I'll put her in A for now. I might move her down. But the thing with Aerith is that she has incredibly high damage output with her magic. Now, magic in Rebirth, no, not Rebirth, in Remake, magic in hard mode was not super practical. Now, it was more so practical for Aerith, because she could steal MP using a Soul Drain, but it still was difficult to make really good use of. But now in Rebirth, that's all changed. The MP absorption materia can be leveled up to now absorb 0.3% of damage dealt. So that's 3 damage for every... No, that's 3 MP for every 1,000 damage you deal. And since August spells deal a lot more damage, you can recover a lot of MP. And then you even have the Genji gloves, which of course will uncap the damage. And you can use an August spell and you can gain MP. And it's nuts. So Aerith, she's her flaws are that she's really slow, both in ATB generation, and you need a ton of wards just to get her set up properly, Arcane Ward, Radiant Ward. So she's a bit slow going, but she has incredible damage once you do get it going. And so for that, I feel like she's great to have on a team, especially soloing. I guess I should clarify, I'm looking at this from both soloing and a team perspective. Aerith, she does well in both, and so I guess that's why I'll put her in a low A for excels. And now for Barrett. I feel like Barrett... Oh, I didn't mean to put him there. I feel like Barrett will be just below Aerith. So Barrett, he has far less damage output than Aerith. But what he has is he has ATB generation. He can build up, frankly, absurd amounts of ATB. So not only can he do it from any range, I mean, Aerith can too, but with Barrett, it's instant. The magic doesn't have to, the bullets don't have to travel far at all. You build up ATB instantly from any distance, especially with stuff like Bonus Round, Turbulent Spirit. You can get insane amounts of ATB generation. And he's great to have on a team because of that. He's great to have on a team because you can activate synergy abilities like crazy with Barrett. And then when soloing, you can buff yourself up a lot. You can get your Steel Skin and the bonus round and the Sonic Boom to get Bravery and Faith. You can get a ton of buffs as Barrett to really buff up his damage output. And so even though his damage is not as crazy as someone like Aerith or Tifa's, the sheer ATB that he generates is completely nuts. And even then, his damage is still pretty good. With Lifeblood Cannon, with the Genji gloves, you can deal more than 20,000 damage. And so it's not going to be as crazy as everyone else, but it's still fantastic damage output and amazing ATB. Man, I keep repeating myself with that, but it's really insane. You can do crazy stuff with Barrett, and I'm really grateful for it. So I guess I'll move on from Barrett. I think he goes just below Aerith. To Cait Sith. Cait Sith, this is a character I don't play enough of, honestly. but I'm going to put him in B. Oh yeah, quick disclaimer. Notice how the lowest one is C. There's no D or F. That's because all the characters are really good. They all do things great, like their own things. So, with that out of the way, I'm not sure where to put Cait Sith, but I think he's lower than Aerith and Barrett. Now, Cait Sith, he's very awkward to play, but he has a lot of strengths going for him, and most of them are very unique. Like, he can get a lot of buffs without even needing to use materia, with stuff like Roll of the Dice, and then also his triangle abilities like Silent Slam and Stop Slam, Petrify, Pile Dive. You can get a lot of status effects without even needing to use materia, so that can lead to you saving MP. But if you do plan on using materia, guess what? He can cast magic while walking around if you have the Moogle. And you can even like block and dodge. I'm not sure if you can block, but I know you can dodge while casting magic. And that's just, it's a super cool thing to have. Cait Sith has some really unique strengths. Although I feel like, I feel like he could go higher, but honestly, I'm just not too sure. It's like the Stop Slam and Petrify, Pile Dive. Those do insane damage, don't cost any ATB, but they take a super long time to generate. Then also Cait Sith moves pretty slowly, especially on the Moogle. So Cait Sith's kind of just a weird character, but I do feel comfortable putting him in B, just like a very solid character. So yeah, I'll move on from Cait Sith now, and I think I'll go with Yuffie. Now for Yuffie, I think I'll put her above Cait Sith. Yeah, I think I'll put her above Cait Sith. Yuffie, she's kind of similar to Tifa in that she's really nimble and she can avoid a lot of damage, especially with stuff like Brutal Form. And her Precision Defense focus, you can use it to apply buffs, such as Regen. So that's pretty cool. She has great defense. But the thing is, though, is that her damage output is not nearly as crazy as someone like Tifa or Aerith's. Because her damage output, she can do crazy damage with, like, Banishment, or even, like, Supreme Art of War. But it's a lot difficult. I feel like it's a lot more difficult to get it going than it is with someone like Tifa or Aerith. They can just use their abilities. But with Yuffie, you've got to, like, kind of charge up the banishment and stuff like that. And so for Yuffie's strengths, yeah, she has impeccable defense, and her range is good too. She's kind of like Barrett in that she can build high amounts of ATB from a distance, and with her ninjutsu she can like change the affinity of that to deal elemental damage out of range. Yuffie has incredible strengths. I might want to put her up in Excels, but I'm not sure. I feel like Barrett and Yuffie are quite similar characters. They both have great defense, but in different ways. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna put her in like a high B above Cait Sith, and maybe I'll change things around later. I guess another disclaimer: this is all my opinion. These characters, I feel like you could make a case for any one character being the best or whatever. So this is all just my opinion. Now let's go on to Tifa, and I think she's the first character to go in S, a cut above the rest, because she is incredible in every single situation. She has aerial combat, and so she can like chase enemies around in the air. Granted, it's not perfect, like you can't use all your abilities in the air, but you can do stuff like Rise and Fall, Omni Strike in the air, and then also the Unfettered Fury, Rage and Fall, and Omni Flurry. So you can deal really good damage in the air too. Now, Tifa, she has very good ATB generation. Not so much at a low chi level. Not so much at a low chi level, but once you get it going, especially with Unbridled Strength or Unfettered Fury, then she becomes an ATB monster, like rivaling Barrett even. Although Barrett can do it from any range, Tifa, her ATB generation is not quite as insane as Barrett's. But then But then you get to her damage output, and her damage output is just crazy. She still has True Strike, which is a lot worse than it was in Remake, but you can do like two True Strikes and then Rise and Fall to Omni Strike to gain your ATB back, and then could keep it up with like Omni Strike change, Omni Strike to Unbridled Strength chains, and her damage output is just nuts. And then there's stuff like Trinity Strike, which is really difficult to do, but if you do get it right, it consistently gets like 9,999, even more if you have the Genji gloves. So I feel like she is the best character to put the Genji gloves on, because she can raise the stagger percentage so much, and then has abilities to capitalize on that high stagger percentage. Although Aerith, she does reach 99999 with Tifa's help. And so, yeah, these two characters, they both have crazy damage output, but I feel like Tifa's just a bit better because she has the ATB generation that Aerith kind of struggles with. So, I don't know, I'm kind of going on a rant, but that's where I'll put Tifa. She's incredible. Oh yeah, and she's great at dodging too. It's like obviously her physical defense is pretty bad, but Focused Strike is still really good for dodging despite the nerf. And you can use it in the air. It's just fantastic. Alright, now let's move on to the star of the show, Cloud. Cloud, he's obviously meant to be like an all-arounder character. He can do well in any role, whether it be like physical damage or a mage or whatever. He's obviously meant to be good at everything, a jack of all trades. And I'm debating whether putting him in a low S or a high A. I'm kind of stuck between that. Cloud, he does have incredible damage output. Solo, he can get up to like 40,000 damage plus with Infinity's End, if you have the Genji gloves, that is. If you don't, then you can use Braver to reach 9999 pretty consistently. And then in terms of magic as well, he has a very good magic stat. And so, Cloud, I'm not sure. I'm really split. I'm not sure whether to put him in a cut above the rest or at like the very top of XIII's. I feel like it's kind of a tricky situation. I think I'll leave him here for now, but I might change my mind later. I know I say that a lot, but I might change my mind later. Next up, Red 13. You know, I was going to put him in C, but I feel like that's being too harsh, because he does have really good strengths. You know what? I think I'll ditch the C tier entirely. And I think I'll put him at like the bottom of B. Now, I feel kind of bad doing this because Red is a great character, but he has some weaknesses. Like, particularly with aerial combat, he struggles to do aerial combat because it's like Barrett, he can just shoot. Wait, did I say Barrett? Barrett, he can just shoot enemies. Aerith can like cast the magic. She can use like her normal attacks are all ranged. Cloud, Tifa have aerial combat. Yuffie too. Cait Sith, he can use his megaphone, but like what does Red have? Like he has Sidewander, I guess. He does jump up pretty high, but he struggles to deal with aerial enemies. Then another thing I find is that his damage output isn't as solid as the other characters. He can output great damage. You know, they all can, obviously. But I feel like Red 13, he struggles more with that because he has a extremely high... He extremely favors physical attack. Magic attack, that's not really his jam. You can build him for it, but at that point, it's like you'd be better off putting those resources to Aerith or Cloud or something. So Red 13, I feel like his damage output, it's not the best, and it's fairly limited, and he struggles to hit like aerial targets. That and his ATB generation isn't all that impressive. Like, he can still do great things. You know, I feel bad putting him this low because I was really excited to play as him. But I just feel like he leaves a lot to be desired in terms of the combat. And now, last but not least, Zack and Sephiroth. And this, I'm going to put Sephiroth above Tifa. Because Sephiroth... Now, here's my take. I feel like, since you can't customize his loadout, right? In the Nibelheim mission, you can't. In the combat sim, you can't. But even without that, I feel like he's still a bit better than Tifa. And if he could customize it, hoo boy, that would be actually insane. Imagine this guy with the Genji gloves. Like, or wait, no, I was going to say enhanced expeditionary medal, but he does not have Octoslash as his only limit. Or maybe the Fury ring too. This guy, he would be nuts with more customization. But anyways, that's not possible. I don't mean to go on a rant about that. But even without it, I feel like he's still a bit better than Tifa because of his limit building. His damage output is incredible. And like his limit building, his damage output, ATB generation specifically. Like he has aerial combat like Tifa, although with his triangle abilities he generates ATB insanely quickly. And his retaliation stance, I think his retaliation stance is cool, but it's kind of, I feel like it's average. I would rather have a normal block than retaliation stance, but it can do great things. So I feel like you could make a case for either of these being better, but I'm going to go with Sephiroth for this. And now for Zack. I feel like Zack, he is really good. Like, he has an extremely high barrier to entry, but he is insanely powerful in the right hands. Like, High Braver, specifically, like, it takes you being at charge level 3 in order to use it, and you have to time it properly. But when you do, the last hit reaches 9999 consistently, and then you combine that with the others as well, and it's like a buffed up aerial onslaught, which is already insane on Cloud. In terms of his other abilities too, Meteor Shots, level 3, it builds a ton of stagger, and it only costs 1 ATB. And then Chain Slash, level 3, does incredible damage, and only costs 1 ATB, so you can do like a Chain Slash level 3 into a High Braver, and you can just totally wreck enemies. That and his materia is totally stacked. Like, he has like all the magic materia, I think, like at least most of it anyways. So he's like great to have on a team. I mean, he only ever fights with Cloud, but he's great to have on a team, I guess. I guess the same goes for Sephiroth. He only ever fights with Cloud, but Sephiroth has really stacked materia as well. So anyways, Zack, he has a high barrier to entry. You have to learn quick charge timings, the High Braver timings, but once you do get past it, then his moveset is so powerful, and it all flows together so well. Like, you can do so many cool things with like quick charge combos. Like, you can punch them into a quick charge, into a combo charge, into that punch again, and you can like keep up the loop building the charge super quickly. And like, if you're skilled enough, you can actually use 2 High Bravers in the same stagger. And so Zack, he just has incredible damage output. His ATB generation, it's not incredible, but he doesn't really need a lot of ATB. Like, because all of his abilities cost 1 ATB, and he could use a few buffs on himself. Like, he can use Bravery and Faith, I guess. You probably don't really need Faith, because he doesn't have an elemental materia. But he doesn't really need much in the way of buffs, and so even though his ATB generation is kind of slow, he doesn't really need a lot of ATB. And that's it, I guess. I mean, I guess I'll put the Moogle in Excels. No, that's just a joke. But I really hoping I can add Vincent and Sid to this someday. No, not you, Billy, Sid. But I would say doing one last look at it, I think I stand by this. I think I agree with this list that I've made here. Zack, Sephiroth, Tifa, Zack, and a cut above the rest. Cloud, Aerith, Barrett, and XIII, and then these three in very solid character. I agree with this list. I quite like it. And let me know what your thoughts are. Just remember that this is my opinion. If you disagree, I'd love to debate it, because I love to argue. But anyways, that's enough of that. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later.